What's up guys, my name's Zen, your host on this Destiny video. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Vision of Confluence, and it was a legendary scout rifle that is gained from completing the Vault of Glass hard mode raid and completing the last boss. It's just a last boss checkpoint, so if you defeat Atheon you have a random chance of getting this item, and it is actually a very interesting weapon. It's actually the most used weapon in Destiny history right now. On the Destiny website they announced the most used weapon. I think it's either number 1, 2, or 3 or something, but I think it's number 1, which is it's a pretty phenomenal gun to begin with. One thing I wanted to mention is that this is a PvE based review, so all of my information will be accurate to actual PvE missions, doing strikes and all that stuff, not the Crucible. Alright guys, let's see if we can get 600 likes on today's video. It'd be absolutely amazing if we can get to 600 likes, just because the last video went really well, even though I did bag on the last word a lot. I think you guys can do it. 600 likes, let's absolutely smash it. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to see if you were featured in the
comment of the day,
and to see how you can be featured in the
comment of the day.
So to start off with, this legendary scout rifle actually does fire damage. It's actually one of the best things about this thing. It actually does fire damage, so those things that need fire damage, you know, the wizard shields or the hive in general, this thing just does so much damage to them because it actually is one of those primaries that actually does specific damage, which is so important for certain things like solar burn, wizard shields, and all of that. This gun comes with 3 different sights. The first one looks like an EO tech from I think Black Ops 2. This one's actually one of my favorites. The second one is also a really good one. It's a circle one, kind of look like a circle sight from COD 4 in that kind of sense. And the last one looks like an ACOG sight. I don't know why I related all of these to Halo, or not Halo, to COD, but yeah, they do look like this. So the first one and second one are pretty much very similar. It just depends on how much you want to be covering your screen. The second one has the least covering of your screen, so there'll be the least tunnel vision. The first one doesn't have too much tunnel vision, but it does have a little bit more of a rectangular feed, and is very much usable in the same sense as the second one. It just comes to preference. And the last one is very much tunnel vision. It actually zooms in. It doesn't exactly zoom in as much more, but it is a little bit more obscuring on the screen, and I don't really like this one as much. But they do change your stats just slightly, but for the most part you just want to use preference. I prefer the first and second, and I like to switch back and forth between them just because it makes the game a little bit more novel. So if you go through the upgrades, the first upgrade makes this thing fully automatic, so you can kind of use this as kind of a little bit slower firing source regime, which is kind of why I like it, so I don't have to worry about just keep pulling the trigger. It is kind of like an automatic weapon. When you have things at mid-range, it's very effective, and it does not have that much recoil, and the centering speed is just in time for its fire rate, so it's actually very good in the mid-range and a little bit on the close range, but again, this is a scout rifle, so it doesn't have that much range. Of course, you have your standard damage upgrade, and the first ladder is actually very interesting. The first upgrade in the ladder is kind of like Stalker Pro from Modern Warfare 3, so you can actually switch weapons faster and aim down sights and move faster while aiming down sights. It's actually pretty good for close range encounters, especially when you're holding down the trigger. You want to aim down the sights the whole time. You keep moving around. This is a pretty decent upgrade. The second one I think is better than that upgrade. It makes it so it has extremely low recoil, basically cuts the recoil in half, and the last upgrade increases the magazine, or the extra capacity in the magazine, bringing up to 27 bullets in a magazine, which is actually really cool because that's like a 50% increase, as well as just having a bunch of extra shots in it. This thing has like almost 300 shots in it, and for a scout rifle this is absolutely insane. One of the main things that makes this weapon so amazing is the fact that it will almost never run out of ammo. You can be sniping from a distance with this thing and almost never run out of ammo. This is actually there's straight up a lot of ammo, which is actually a really cool feature. And lastly, the upgrade right after this second ladder is actually going to be called Zen Movement. This makes it so you actually have increased stability and accuracy when you actually do damage. So the more enemies you hit, the more accurate you become, and this gun is just so accurate after a while that I never really understood why this weapon upgrade was really necessary. Even without the extra stability upgrade on it, it's just a very accurate weapon. If you're firing at a bunch of enemies in front of you, like if you're firing at long range, or you're like right in front of you, you're basically gonna have like perfect accuracy anyways, and the centering speed is so good that you really don't need to worry about this. I think this perk, if we were to move something else into that slot, it would actually be a lot better of a weapon, maybe perhaps some explosive damage. All that would be really cool. Precision kills do better, but for the most part Zen Movement doesn't really help that much, so just getting the first upgrade and getting the extra magazine capacity really is where this weapon shines, and Zen Movement is just kind of make it a little bit better. But for the most part it really just doesn't matter because its weapon is just so accurate, and it comes back to the center in time for that next shot. even with full auto. Overall, I think this is one of the best weapons in the game. Now, I'm not a scout rifle fan. I really have always hated scout rifles for the longest time. I've used auto rifles a lot. Source Regime has kind of pulled me back into the sense of maybe scout rifles a little better just because of its slower fire rate. It's a lot more accurate, and this weapon is like a Source Regime, but a little bit more, it's actually a lot more accurate, and it does a lot more damage per shot. So it's kind of why I like it, just because it's extremely accurate. It does a lot of damage. The headshot damage is amazing, and overall, this weapon is fantastical. When it comes to PvE and all that stuff, the regular guys, so the Scions, the Acolytes, the Thralls, those things usually drop in one shot to the head, which is actually really cool, if not just like one shot and a little bit more. As of the big bosses, you have so much ammo in the clip, you can continually just hold down the trigger with full auto, with 27 bullets in a mag, with the Scout Rifle, you can just continually fire at like big bosses like the big Colossus guys from the Cabal, as well as the Minotaurs. It's just overall just a great weapon. When it comes to the wizards, it actually shreds through the wizard shield, and right when you pop that shield, it has such good critical hit damage. You can basically take down the wizard in like 2 or 3 shots after the shield is down, and with the fire damage, it's just such a phenomenal weapon. Overall, I would rate this weapon as one of the best guns in the entire game, if not the best gun in the game, not including the raid guns, the exotic gun. It's probably the best legendary gun before the actual raid guns and all that stuff, just because so phenomenal. You have tons of ammo, does great damage, it's full auto, it's easy to use, there's great stability in it. It's just overall there's nothing wrong with this weapon. I mean, at close range it's a little bit more suffering, but with the full auto feature it makes it a little bit more viable. You can jump around, blind fire and all that stuff, and generally what I recommend doing with this weapon is just having a fusion rifle or a shotgun with it, and you can basically just take out any type of competition at any range, because this gun is really good at mid-range to long range, but not like extremely long range, because it's hard to get those headshots, and this gun just amazing with headshots. Overall, I would definitely give this gun like a 9 or 10 out of 10. Actually, I would say more of a 10 out of 10 for its being a legendary weapon before the actual raid came out, or the new Crota's End raid. This definitely gets a 10 out of 10 for its rarity type. So today's
Comment of the day
goes to Thomas Sarmiento. Now I'm going to let you guys read this for a second, because it's all about reading this and kind of understanding the joke without somebody else explaining it to you. So I'm just going to let you guys go ahead and read it. So the comment of the question of the day says, if you can say these 4 words without getting your tongue twisted, you're a genius. First thing off, use the wrong year. So this made it a little bit more interesting when I knew this was actually copy and pasted. Anyways, first one says, I am stupid. I found this one actually great, because I was like, initially when I see it, I'm like, I can do this. I ain't gonna get my tongue twisted. I can do this. And I go in to say it, and I'm like, oh, god damn it, you got me. And you can see it down a bunch of other people. Tons of responses on that one. Oh, you wrecked me, mate. You asshole. What did I do? You wrecked me. I'll give you that. You know, I love when people do stuff like this. Interactive comments are often really, really cool. But to be honest, the original ones is where it's at. If you guys want to be in the comment question of the day, make sure you leave down your original or creative responses. You know, I'll pick my favorite, whether they be funny, motivational, or inspirational. Make sure you leave them down below with the hashtag comment of the day. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Again, we're hitting 600 likes on today's episode. If you guys can hit that, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Also, guys, what kind of things do you want for these type of like milestones? Because I'm definitely able to do things. So if you want, if I ask for like, I want 1,000 likes and you guys hit that, what do you want for it? I mean, the obvious choice is releasing a video immediately, but that seems like it's gonna be a lot of work, and I'm starting school soon. So, but let me know in the comments down below if that's really, really what you want. Then get a bunch of upvotes for it and stuff, so I can see it and I'll make sure it happens. But anyways, that's been the video for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the vision of Confluence. My name's been Night Chronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.